Lay down! They're only dead aliens, only joking. Good morning from Yummy BTV. Sending loads of love to you all as usual. Now, I was thinking this morning, before I go on to this morning's topic, there was a geezer from way back in the day called Dave EWIN from West London, right? Someone pulled my coat yesterday in the comments. Said, Yummy, I told you about this a long time ago, but you still haven't got round to it. I might do a piece on him and maybe a full Sutton riot way back in the day, right? Because Cat A riots are different from other places. Trust me, they are. Now, Dave EWIN, as a kid in the 80s growing up, I see his name a lot, right? Seriously dangerous man, but a cool geezer, if you get what I mean. I think he had a sister, you know, called Debbie. I'm not sure, but I remember he did have a sister. So he had a tough upbringing, right? I remember there was some sad elements to his story as well growing up. Maybe some of you remind me. But I remember years ago, I walked into a pub. He was sitting on a stool, right, by the bar. And when I pushed the door open with somebody else, right, he was on the stool with a green mac on, with a cloth over his knee and sitting like that, right? To see the two barrels. I was thinking, fucking lunatic, mate. If he does anything in here, he's going to get nicked. The only thing that I could think of is there was a beef probably with another man and he'd heard about it and he wanted to wait for him and get there first. So it must have been a kill me or kill you thing. That's the only thing that I could think of, but he didn't used to play about. The reality is, rest in peace, Dave EWIN, right? He got shot, if I say so, by the police, right? He was on home leave, I think, from Latchmere House or Blantyre, one of those places. I think it was the 90s, right? Remind me. And they must have got a phone call. That's what they said, that he had a gun. But the only thing was, he was going back to the DCAT, I think, on home leave, right, at that time. So I doubt whether he would have really had a gun, right? So, and he beat a lot of cases as well. There were murder cases, other cases, robberies and blah, 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 right? I think he, throughout his whole career, Dave EWIN, I don't think he'd done a lot of prison time. He'd done a lot of remands, right? But a proper geezer, Dave Hutchinson, you remember him, innit? And Billy Stanley. I was thinking about you this morning, Dave Hutch, when that thing happened in the church with Magoo. Do you remember that? He was laughing. I was on the book, in it, the E-Man book. Oh, it was funny that day. But anyway, this morning's topic of between me and you. Said a favourite saying. Someone said to me this morning, Yummy, remember that? Everyone used to say, tell somebody something and say between me and you. Now, normally it's meant to mean don't tell anyone else, right? But it can fall under different formats because the rule in the jungle in the Cat A is, many will know this, if you tell more than one person, it's going to get out, mate. There's too many people that are alliance to someone else and loose lips sink ships. And it could be someone you're telling you who just mentions it to someone else in a cell while you're having a smoke. You know what I mean? You know how the game can work sometimes. So people might sometimes say between me and you, so that it does go out there. Because if you get two men, if there's beef, right, but no one's, if say you got a gang over there and a geezer here and there's problems and words on the street that you're going to get done, it's going to kick off and he said this and he said that. If it doesn't come out, if you're not going to run up on him and do something violent and they're not doing it to you, all you do is sit around waiting, basically in your cell at night, thinking about it. Oh, what do I do? So you don't want to make the first move. So you're going to be in turmoil. You're not going to live in peace. So the other way of using between me and you is create a big load of noise, basically, so it comes out and then we can all sort it out, mediate it. Don't happen, there's too many sides or different sides and that kind of, which is common in the Cat A's. A man might say, yeah, but if he does that, I'm joining in, and that there's a lot of loyalty that way. So some men at certain times meant to get done, but you know, we know that already, and you've got the rubber the green. But also men that have been done in other places, when they go to other Cat A places, they join forces with people they might not have been friends with before, but they would join forces for them, simple because you've got the one thing in common. You've got problems with the geezer, same geezer. So you'll be in that, start cooking together. Yeah, if he comes in, because no one likes to be violated in the Cat A's, right? So, you know, you got the other geezer got the upper hand in the other jail, which can happen as well, unfortunately. And they're plotting and planning, well, when he comes down here, we got the upper hand, and straight away we'll be able to blah, blah, blah. I always used to use that between me and you in different formats as well. Sometimes when I wouldn't get my own way, I stopped talking to certain people and then I would use it, tell somebody that I know is going to go and tell him back. So I'm basically saying, yeah, between me and you, he's going to get it soon anyway. Not from me, but there's mix up in there. So I know he's going to go and tell him. So that what that created for me is that he would get to hear it and then confront me later on. But you've got to know characters when you're putting out stuff like that. It's very, very dangerous, because if you do tell the wrong person and it gets back and someone is not going to come and confront you on a peaceful thing, then he's going to come and throw hot fat over you or stab you with, you know, because he's hearing it. He's thinking, well, you're going to do me, so you say, or I'm going to do you. There's different ways of doing it. You have to know the characters, but you have to be really careful. So then they confront me later on, but really, in the back of my mind, I just want to cause an argument and then be their friend and say, "Kiss two of them things again, please." You know what I mean? And then we're all squashed and all that. Dangerous tactic to play. Gordon Bennett. I mean, there's not a lot of happy people with me, if you get what I mean now. The other side of the coin, or is that it between me and you? The other person, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So basically, the only way that it can work in there, because in the jungle, when you're in the mix, that's what I was going to say. When you're in the mix, it's either you're running around for drugs, you've got problems everywhere else, so you're always on edge kind of thing. So you get involved in the politics that are going around the wing, right? Day-to-day life, it passes the time as well. It'd be a boring place if there was no mix-up in the jungle. But everybody gets by on the word on the street, so it's just who's best at probably being a snake, if you get what I mean, man. There was times when people shout across the other landing up there. We've talked about this before. They said, yeah, my man's get the message over to him this morning. But they can hear you downstairs in the office, mate. And when everybody gets swagged, everyone starts saying it was his fault. It was his fault. No, it was your own fault. But when you're down there and you're missing out on the party, you're upset. You know what I mean? But there you are. Or some people do it so that they get moved. There's so many different tactics by throwing out red herrings here and there so that it could get back to the screws of blood. It's a dangerous, dangerous game in the jungle. And if you're not up there, you're out. So the key is always, because men will talk, don't matter who you are, mate. If you've got problems and there's something bugging you and there's a skeleton in a closet of some kind, what you think, what they're thinking or feeling, what they're feeling, and what are they saying about me, you might tell one person, open your mouth, say, yeah, I don't like him, it's the way you go. You know what I mean? But you tell, that's your best friend. And that's about it. Because if you tell too many, it's going to get out. I'll be up later on, sending loads of love.